Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Freakz with a Z, the podcast all about movies. Yes, every episode is about one singular movie, and of course we'll introduce the movie in a little bit. But first we would like to invite you, yes you, to give us your film recommendations. You can give us your recommendation over email ff.filmfreakswithaz@gmail.com, or you can talk in the movie reviews part of my Discord, the Ferret Nation Discord, or you can comment on the latest episode of Film Freaks with a Z, which is probably the easiest way to get in. The fan vote did happen during Tay's episode, so thank you to everyone who recommended movies for that vote, and also thank you to everyone who voted on that vote as well. You've decided our fate, and we'll reveal the winner at the end of the episode, of course. All right, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I am YemmytheFerret, a.k.a. Yemmy. Who am I here with?
Hello, Gritty Waffle.
Taymation.
And Gogo Gamer.
How are we doing today, everyone?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right.
Fine.
I'm doing good. You know, we're kind of like the Avengers podcast, aren't we?
Ooh.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You can
Who's
say
who,
that.
though?
Yeah, who's who? Let's see. So,
I'm the Incredible
Yemmy's-
Hulk.
Yemmy has to be Cap, right? Because he brought us all together.
Yeah.
He's like our boss.
all right, I'll take Captain America post the original Avengers. How about that?
Yummy has America's ass.
Oh, thank
Hey,
you.
don't want America's ass?
Nick, you wanted to be Incredible Hulk?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I mean,
can see
you
that.
see the way I moved you the other a couple months ago.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hearing out of nowhere.
that's Nick
I'll
helped
say-
me move. He didn't actually move me. But
Well,
he is
You did
swole.
move the house?
So,
Yeah.
all right, I guess
No,
that
I'm-
makes sense.
I'm
Well,
all
I
for
mean,
that. I'm
I
all
want to
for
see
that.
you hang a dresser off the edge of a balcony.
All right, who would Tay be, though?
I think I'm Hawkeye.
Hawkeye?
Yeah, sure, I'll be Hawkeye.
You have a sharp eye?
No, not even really. Got terrible vision.
Well, you could be Vision. There you go.
Oh, okay, I'll be Vision. That's right. Or I could Thor. I guess I could be Thor too. Thor's pretty cool. I
Be
like
all
Thor.
three. Yeah.
Also, have
I have no idea who I'll be.
Coco's Wanda. No.
No, Coco can be Iron Man. He's got that Tony Stark swagger.
Oh, God.
Coco has
Coco,
that
the
iPhone.
cause and solution to all of our problems.
True.
All right, Tony Stark, introduce the movie we're talking about today.
Well, if it wasn't obvious when we were talking about, we're doing the Avengers from 2012. Synopsis is Earth's mightiest heroes must come together in order to fight as a team. They're going to stop the mischievous Loki and his alien army from saving humanity. Yeah. Oh no, like Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, yada yada. I want to start this off movie. I'm not sure if it's just like I'm not sure if it's just that it's the TV I watched on, but this movie still looks just really good on the CGI elements. To me, what did you guys think?
I think mostly this movie holds up pretty well. I mean, Hulk has gotten even better, I think. I mean, I've seen comparisons of Hulk from this movie throughout all the movies, and each movie they get a little better with the CGI for Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, yeah, this movie I think holds up pretty well visually.
Yeah, I didn't really notice anything too terrible per se with the CG. I think there were a few scenes where Tony Stark is in the Iron Man suit and his head just doesn't look right on his body because it's like all CG body except he's just a regular head. But other than that, I mean, the monster design was pretty good. Even Hulk, I think, held up pretty well. I mean, compared to like what was that? The Hulk movie from like 2007 or whatever. It's a crazy difference. But you can tell they really tried to. They put all their effort into this one because the CG does look pretty good. I mean, it held up pretty well.
Yeah, and the nice thing about Hulk, this was the first Hulk movie where Hulk actually looks like Banner.
Right.
Like, and all the other movies, it's just like, it's just a big green dude. Doesn't look like anybody. And this one, they went, no, we'll try to make it look like Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, the old
Which I
Hulk looked like, a clay figure that someone molded and punched in the face.
So I still appreciate that about this. This was the first movie where I was like, oh, now I see it. Hulk looks like.
He's even got the 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah. That hairline look.
Yeah.
I will say that Hulk's voice definitely need a little bit of like editing to it. Even like in his best line in the movie where he's like puny god. I mean, it sounds like Mark Ruffalo just lowering his voice into a microphone and going puny god. It doesn't sound like Hulk. You know what I'm saying?
It's not even that. Like he lowered his voice and then they like digitized it so much that like distorted it. And to be fair, they still use that voice. Like, 'cause I watched Thor Ragnarok again this week too. They still use it in Thor Ragnarok, and even then I was like, I'm not big on that voice.
Yeah, I guess I have to watch it again. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like I said, it sounds fine. It sounds like Mark Ruffalo, but it's just Mark Ruffalo a little. They lowered down the pitch a bit and then digitized it. And,
It's Mark Ruffalo after screaming for 5 minutes straight. And...
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
He got too excited during his big moment taking down the monsters.
Yeah.
But the CG, the only questionable part I had was when he was up in Stark Tower. Like anytime like it showed Stark Tower, I mean, you could, if you really looked into it, you might be like, like there and here. But yeah, for 2012, I mean, I thought it was pretty good. And I think the part where Hulk slams Loki down, I think there was like a quick second where it was like pixelated almost, but it was so fast. You're just like,
Yeah, it's so fast, it's gonna be hard to tell.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying when they are zooming into like Stark Tower, especially at the end of the movie when Stark and Pepper Potts it's like zooming out from them. You can definitely it's almost like Apollo 13 in that aspect where it's like you go from like the interior of the ship to the outside. It looks kind of weird, and it's kind of the same thing happens here.
I don't remember that. I will say, every time I watch this movie, I always am like surprised by how it begins. Like I'm always like, oh, I forgot this is how it begins. Like every time. Like we said, where you have the guy Thanos' lackey, wherever, where he's talking to Loki and like being all menacing and whatever. It's like I'm like, oh, I always forget this. It feels like a weird intro.
Yeah. Especially because the guy has like 2 thumbs for no reason.
Yeah.
But the rest of his fingers are normal. He's just kind of a weird character design. I don't think he actually shows up for the rest of the MCU anyways.
Yeah. No,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, I did look it up once, and I think he does show up a little bit, but dies. Like I think Ronan kills him. Or something.
Oh, one of his thumbs gets chopped off, and he's like, "That's the thumb with my heart." Oh.
It was like he twisted his neck around, so his face was in the opposite side.
Oh, I remember now. Yeah, that was one of those jarring moments that I complained about for the tone in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a weird place to start, but it's also weird that like one of the first action scenes is a car chase in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
It works. It's not bad, but it's just kind of weird. It's like you like even looking at Age of Ultron, like they start off with like the battle in the forest with the superheroes, and really the only time you don't get like a superhero intro is during like the first part of the MCU with Iron Man 1, Captain America. It's just kind of weird. You start with SHIELD agents and Hawkeye, and it's a car chase through the tunnels, and it's fine. Like I'm not saying it's bad, but
Phase 1.
Yeah, it just starts off a little different, and I wasn't expecting that when I first watched it.
I always don't expect it. Anytime I go back and watch this movie, I was like, "Oh, right, this is how this movie begins."
Yeah,
we forget about it after the scene's over.
Yeah, because it doesn't. I don't think it really meshes super well with the rest of the movie. Which the rest of the movie, I think, is done really well. And it's just that just like stands out as weird, and so like I forget about it quickly because it's weird and doesn't fit, and then so like, the rest of it all goes together. So I'm like, oh, that was good. That was
Yes, makes more sense. Like when he says like there's nothing to do but burn. They didn't really burn though. They kind of just like some people get lasered or something like that. But nothing burned.
Yeah, it's a figure of speech, I think.
Yeah, it's a figure of speech. It's fine. I will say though, the very beginning, as it goes back and forth between all these different, all the different Avengers at the beginning, the transitions are actually done really, really well.
Yeah.
Like we have, it starts with I think Fury talking to the Shadow guys who are in charge or whatever. He's like, it's won by soldier. Cuts to Cap, who's a soldier. And then he says something about the ocean, and we cut to Tony Stark in the ocean.
Yeah, because it makes sense.
Yeah, there's a few like that. Those are the two I can think of. I think there was one or two more. Where I was like, yeah, those transitions were on point.
Yeah, they really were. I noticed that too. I was like, yeah, that's a nice transition there. By the third time they do it, it's like, here it comes, and you're getting ready to watch it.
I do like the little details because when what's this Coulson was talking to Black Widow, you could see that he was watching when Hawkeye and Black Widow were fighting.
Oh yeah, they were in Bangladesh or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bangladesh or something. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, they were in the trenches. And Hawkeye had a bow and arrow. For an ensemble movie, I think that this movie also you don't. You should probably watch the other movies before it, but it actually sets up each character pretty nicely, even without the context of their background. They even retread Captain America was stuck on ice for blah 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 how many years, and everyone knows who Iron Man is. They kind of gloss over it, but it's there for the people who didn't watch the other movies. And I think that it's an easy movie to just kind of pick up and watch without having any other context.
Yeah, without having need to watch all the movies.
And they did that on purpose because at first they weren't sure if the whole cinematic universe thing was gonna work, so they tried to make each one stand alone.
Right. So
you could just watch one and be okay. But obviously, since it worked after Avengers, they went, yeah, it works. Now you have to see them all.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like that about it. And if you miss out on let's say you miss out on the Hulk movie, because I think everyone kind of missed out on that one. It's not like you need to watch that one either, because it's a completely different actor for the character anyways, and they kind of redo his story anyway.
Yeah, they didn't set anything up for him. So.
Yeah, and you could also skip Captain America: The First Avenger. That's supposed to be the prequel to this movie, but it doesn't really affect this movie until the very end. So you could watch maybe the last 10 minutes of the movie and get about the same amount of enjoyment. It sets up the Tesseract. That was its main point of that movie, was to set up the Tesseract, show you who Cap was. But you don't need to see it because that was kind of the point of Avengers. Hold on, Coco, you were talking over Tay there. What'd you say, Tay?
Sorry about that.
Oh, just that that was kind of the point. It's you don't need to see Captain America because see Avengers. It's going to explain everything. You don't need to go see these other movies yet.
Right.
The hope was that you would be intrigued and then go watch it. But it set up the Tesseract and just kind of showed you who Cap was.
Yeah.
Get in Avengers as well. So
I'm only saying this because I literally watched the movie today, and I already talked about it with you guys pre-show, but I think the one movie that you kind of should watch if you're going to watch any before the start of this Avengers movie is Thor, the original Thor, only because Loki is set up in that movie, and also the professor who does all the stuff with the Tesseract. That's all set up too. I think that's very important stuff, and you could literally go from Thor into Avengers, and it feels more natural than going from Thor to Captain America to Avengers.
Yeah. Well, technically, if you're ever going to watch them all, watch them in timeline order.
Right, but let's say you're on budgeted time. There's a few that you could, miss out.
Oh, yeah.
And that's even true with the newer Avengers like movies. You know, you don't need to see necessarily like Black Panther or Doctor Strange or
Right, because those ones are
Guardians
more
of
like
the
contained
Galaxy.
stories, right? There's small things that are branching out, just like with the original few movies. Like there's a few, like, you know, the end of Iron Man 1, you know, the after credits scene is like the thing that links it to the next movie or the Avengers movie, right? Because Nick
Yeah.
Fury comes out. And in this one, you know, pretty much the whole movie is linked to Nick Fury and Shield. It's a Thor movie with, you know, Asgard and all that along with
Yeah.
it.
Tastes
So
like
it's a
just
process.
watch a whole week worth of Marvel movies, then watch Avengers.
just watch all of them.
I mean,
No particular
technically,
order,
now you're
also.
supposed to watch Captain Marvel after Captain America.
How about
Yeah.
you?
It's true.
That is a
Technically,
timeline.
it's the second one in the timeline.
Yeah,
Mhm.
crazy how that works out.
Yeah. Unless you want to watch
Just
Agent
not being
Carter.
happy.
Too.
So, getting back to Avengers talk, I actually really liked Hawkeye in this movie. I'm not gonna lie, he was like my favorite Avenger. They really portrayed him to be like an actual badass in this movie, and he's not just like a joke character in like Age of Ultron and stuff like that. Like, I really liked how they gave him his different like arrows. Like there was the hacker arrow and the grappling hook arrow and the all that
Also,
stuff. And like he had like that thing, like, you know, the what's it called, that holds the arrows on his back,
Quiver.
and it actually had like a, you know, spinning thing that would load the special arrow onto the. I thought that was a really cool detail.
Yeah,
And
you just press a button.
yeah, they actually made him like a cool character. Like even when he was
Yeah.
being evil, like he was still pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed him, and I think they really did him dirty. He really got demoted in the Marvel universe. Like he didn't show up in any other films. And then also like his design also changed. Like his new bow and arrow set, he doesn't even have like that extra quiver on it. He just pulls out the special one at whim. He doesn't even have the special quiver. And then also the bow is like just a regular bow in Age of Ultron, if I remember correctly. And I'm like, this movie, he looks like a badass.
I thought it was kind of cool the way he whipped out his bow twice. He's like, "I need an eyeball," and I thought those scenes, like that scene, was pretty cool.
Distraction.
But what I was gonna say earlier when we were talking before the movie or before the podcast is Hulk, Thor, and Hawkeye. No, they really been like over. I know Hulk is a different story because a different company owned them, but like they've been, their path that Marvel's taken them is like kind of sad to me. Like especially Hulk. Like Hulk was so badass in this movie, and like you said, Hawkeye was. Did I say Hulk? Anyways, you know what I mean.
I thought you were talking about Hawk because that's what they called him originally in in that opening scene on the Avengers in the movie.
No, I'm talking about Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
And he was a badass. Then Hawkeye, he was also a badass. But yeah, you're totally right. Like he's not so badass anymore in the universe. And maybe I understand like Thor and Incredible Hulk because they're so powerful. But it's just like nowadays, especially in the last Avengers movie where he's just like has glasses on now. He's taking pictures with kids. I'm like, oh, come on.
I get they want to introduce like Professor Hulk, but they could just introduce another Hulk, something like that instead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, he did all. The reason he was like the most loved by kids and everything is like he still did all like the superhero stuff. Like he saved people from fires, and there was supposed to be a scene of him doing that, but they had to cut it from time.
Yeah.
But it's just
this
like
movie's
his
already pretty
appearance.
long too.
Yeah, true.
So, but that's why, Infinity War. That's why we never get any badass Hulk stuff because they had to cut it for time. Hawkeye, I feel like they made him more of a badass again in Endgame when you see him as Ronin, when he's just like kicking ass, not even taking names, he's just kicking ass,
killing people.
Yeah, killing people left and right.
But yeah, he wasn't like that for like the only other scene in Endgame was that when he was killing the Chitauri that was after him. Well, not Chitauri, it was what do they call him?
Yeah, it was Chitauri.
Oh, it was T'Challa. Yeah, T'Challa. But he didn't have many scenes in that Endgame.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just seems like they're like fumbling Incredible Hulk's story a little bit. And like I said, I know it's a different company owned them, but it's just like, oh, I'm always angry, and then he just randomly turns. And if I'm correct, maybe he still like has issues. Like he's like, oh, it's not the anger issues. It's like, well, which one is it? Is it the anger issues? Is it not? Is it a switch on off?
yeah, that's the plot hole from this movie, and like it's like if he's always angry, then why was he like transforming? When all the shit was hitting into the fan, and he couldn't control himself or the Hulk inside of him, and then all of a sudden at the end of the movie, I would think that he's kind of able to control Hulk only because he's actually going around saving people instead of just smacking things.
But it's just like, why was he attacking everybody on the ship then? Like, why is he just because he's in the city now? It's like there's other aliens.
See,
I don't know.
I thought it was Loki's scepter, because I kept like doing that weird funky music when it was on screen, and they like focused in on it with everyone arguing. So I'm guessing it was Loki's scepter in the ship, but still, I mean, everyone else was able to kind of maintain their composure, and it was just Hulk came out, and for some reason he, tried to kill everyone.
Well, I mean, the way I see it is, like, he's angry, and when he's just like a certain amount of angry, like he kind of has a bit of control. Like they kind of have, as I said in Thor Ragnarok, where they both kind of have a hand on the wheel. But in moments like that, where he pretty much fell,
it looked like he was fighting it. So maybe
he fell. That was Hulk trying to take the wheel completely, and if Hulk takes the wheel completely, controls
killing everything.
Yeah,
I understand. Thank you for opening up my third eye.
No problem. It's what I do.
No, that makes more sense now, though. Yeah.
So yeah, if you really want some like Hulk character development, definitely go watch Thor Ragnarok, because you get a lot of Hulk in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should probably rewatch that one sooner than later.
The ending, I'll never forget. Do you want to know who I really am? And he just falls and hits the drops in front of the wolf.
It's like, go. But that moment, like, again, it's supposed to be a funny moment. We're like, I know you're Hulk, but how are you not dead? Especially because you hit that ground pretty hard.
Because he can't die. Hulk takes over and then brings him back to life. That's what Hulk do.
He says that like I tried shooting myself in the mouth.
The other guy spits it out.
The other guy spits it out.
That was one thing that still bugs me about Avengers, is that they keep referring to the Hulk as the other guy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't mind it because he's so early and he doesn't know.
I get it. Like
it.
Yeah, it's like I didn't hate it when it first came out, but now at this point it just kind of bugs me. Especially like there's one part where he's like the Hulk. I mean, the other guy. And it felt like it would have been better if it was reversed. He's like the other guy, the Hulk.
Yeah,
like that I think would have worked out a little better.
But still, like every Bruce, we're still wanting to accept Hulk.
The other thing I wanted to mention though, after watching this, and how like Black Widow was acting after her encounter with Hulk, like 100%, like going to last episode about Age of Ultron, there's no way that she would be okay with doing the song and dance with Hulk. Like like after that performance, like it was actually really gripping to see her like shivering there and just sitting there traumatized.
Yeah, like I said, I think I said last week, it was like no, she would not be okay with it.
Is there a movie where they actually set that up?
After that scene, when that part ended.
Do they have a movie where they actually set up where Black Widow is like, oh, I gotta sing a lullaby to make them stop, because she doesn't do it in this one.
No.
So why?
Yeah,
why all of a sudden?
The only movie she's in between this one and Age of Ultron, if I remember correctly, is Winter Soldier.
Yep.
So and Winter Soldier doesn't have Hulk at all in it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was gonna mention earlier, it was nice not having to hear her do that lullaby 10 times in a movie.
Well, they didn't even have to. He just kind of de-transformed on his own.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like she doesn't have to do it, so that's why it was nice.
Yeah.
Bruce, like in transformation like that, and I guess he has way more control when he can turn Hulk off.
Well, yeah, the
doing
Hulk
this
kind of
before.
decided it, though, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Hulk's like, I'm done. See
All
ya.
right, I'm gone. Bye.
Although I will say it is funny to watch Thor try to do the lullaby in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And fail miserably.
Not gonna hurt you. Boom.
I also have to take back what I said in Age of Ultron. I don't think Thor's like the lamest character in this movie. I think that Captain America's outfit is the lamest thing in this movie, honestly.
I hate his outfit.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't really care for Captain America in this one.
Yeah,
No,
he's more
that's
of his goody two shoes thing. Like, you know how they make the joke in Age of Ultron where it's like, oh, language. This one seemed like it should have been the movie where they did that, because in Age of Ultron, he's more of like
A leader.
well, yeah, he's more of a leader, and he's also a little bit more like distrustful of like Shield in general in Age of Ultron.
No, this
not, like, by
movie
the books.
definitely. Yeah, this movie definitely underutilized him too. Like, I feel like you don't ever see him use any of his super strength really, or anything like.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well, you
just,
see him use his shield quite often.
yeah, the
but
shield a
yeah,
little bit,
your
but-
point still stands. You know?
Yeah,
Get
but like
what I'm
if you go think of like Winter Soldier or later on, he kicks the hell out of so many people, and you never see him do any of that.
Yeah, not in this
Also,
one.
you could have taken that one soldier he was fighting. When the way he used the gun, I get like he's not used to using a gun, but he's just like shot so randomly and just like you could just one. Why don't you have your shield?
And two,
But me-
Two, it's just like why can't you just one? But two, you know how to fight people. Why don't you just get in close corners with him?
yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't think that whatever gun he was using is any different from a gun that he would use during World War II for the most part.
Yeah.
He was
But
just.
he's shot so bad.
I almost wonder if he wasn't trying to kill the guy, right? Like he just kind of because I think Captain America's more of like almost.
No, because you saw him kill a guy right before that scene.
Yeah,
he threw a guy off the whole.
But he, okay, I'm about to use the Batman v Superman excuse, but he didn't kill him though. He just pushed him. just like how the bullet didn't. Batman didn't kill him. The bullet killed him when it hit his grenade. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did have this in my notes where it was just like the random soldiers that like died versus the random ones that didn't. It was just like
Yeah,
why?
it was
It's
not
like-
consistent.
It's like two guys, I believe, I could be wrong, like run in, they're shooting,
Yeah,
like,
and
they
Nick-
just get punched, and
Yeah,
the one guy gets shot. He's like late to the party. He's like, hey, I'm here, and then he just gets shot. And I'm like, oh, screw that guy, I guess.
Yeah.
Just funny. It's like they're just walking in grenade rows, and it's like it doesn't explode to white mode. It's like grenade.
But
I
yeah,
just figure like if you have a grenade, you have a surprise. Just wait a couple seconds and throw it, and you'll get much more of an impact.
I also think like Captain America's design for his outfit. I understand like Carson designed it. He
Yeah.
designed it like the old cards, the old school stuff. But what's going on with that helmet thing? Like, is it
Yeah,
like
it
actually a
looks
helmet,
way
or
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense? Like, and it's attached
It's
to his
bad.
uniform.
That's what it is.
I mean, on the ship, it looked okay. Like, I didn't notice, like, as bad, especially when him and Stark were doing the fans. But, yeah, near the ending, like, that whole helmet, especially when he gets on that cop car to direct with the cops, like, what to do, I was just like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely.
Yeah, that
he looked
was
a lot
cool.
better when he didn't have it on, which I think is why he just doesn't wear it anymore after this movie.
So, you know
Well,
what?
and it was Joss Whedon's. Like he wanted that costume, and then like the Russo brothers when they did Winter Soldier went no.
Yeah, we want Captain America to look cool.
And
Sorry.
You don't want
they,
that.
they succeeded. They made me love Cap. Like before this, like Cap was okay, but then after seeing Winter Soldier, I was like, damn, Cap's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cap got like a major boost.
Thor and Captain America kind of went opposite directions, you know?
Mhm.
Everyone started to like Captain America more because, you know, Thor 2 sucked, right?
Yeah, Thor.
And people like started not to like Thor, and then all of a sudden, you know, when Ragnarok came along, people came back around with Thor.
Yeah, because they improved a lot.
But yeah, there was a time when, you know, Thor was the least liked and Captain America was like the most liked.
Well, Thor's only liked now because how badass he was in Infinity War. So.
Well, no, it was Ragnarok.
Yeah,
that did it.
Ragnarok
Oh
was
yeah. Okay.
Ragnarok
Infinity
made
War.
him like more likable as a person, like a character in general.
Yeah.
Plus, his new hairdo is killer. I love that hairstyle.
Oh yeah. And then Fat Thor, you know, you gotta love Fat Thor.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like I'm the only person in the world who didn't like Fat Thor. But you know what? I maybe I should just watch the movie again before saying anything, because maybe, you know, just like with Thor 1, maybe I'll have a complete 180. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
I just like it was great character development for him because, you know, he had pretty much PTSD from failing completely, so he just did a 180 when like I just let himself go, and then that's the whole point. You know, he gets the hammer back in the end game, and he's like, "Oh, I am still worthy," which is nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, we're talking about Avengers, the first one.
It's
So what
happening
do you-
a lot when we're talking about multiverses.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what do you? I know we didn't care about the joke aspect in the last movie we watched.
Age of
But
Ultron.
what do you guys think? Like, was it the right cup of tea? Was it too much for the joking of in Avengers?
Really, I thought it was fun. The main reason it didn't work in Age of Ultron is because they decided to make Ultron crack jokes,
Yeah.
and that
But
doesn't work.
I was just comparing it. You know, it's just my.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think it worked a lot better. I think the
transition.
writing was a lot better in this, because the jokes kind of like worked within the narrative. You know, the movie didn't grind to a halt when the joke was being said. You know.
Yeah.
And once again, I also had to take back what I said. I think I said in the last episode that Loki was cracking jokes and all that, but he was actually he was what I wanted Ultron to be. Like, he was sinister. He was like unfeeling. He was
Manipulative as well.
yeah, he was really well acted. I have a lot more respect for Loki's character now that I rewatched this, because he did a really good job with that, and like that's
He doesn't
like
he doesn't start cracking jokes until he loses.
right, yeah. But yeah, I think that like even like some of the camera work, like the cinematography, like how he looked and everything, like it felt so foreboding. It actually felt like a world changing event. You know, it didn't feel like, oh, you know, weekend at Ultron's, right, Tay.
Yep.
But it actually felt like there was power behind him, and he you know, he actually, you know, he like I said, he was sinister. Like, he actually was a villain. You know, he wasn't just a joke wielding robot.
Exactly. When he killed Coulson, like, it reminds me of it. Like, he literally stabbed him and walked over and just gestures to his as he looks at Thor, because he knows he just killed someone who he cared about.
Yeah, that actually like surprised me, even to this day. Like, when he did the fake out and killed Coulson, like that still was that, like, especially after, like, because I'm getting jumbled up now after watching Thor again and Iron Man and stuff like that, and how big of a character Coulson was. It is actually kind of startling when he just kind of randomly gets shanked in the back. You know, you feel like he's coming and walking like a badass, and you know, he still has his moment, of course, and I really enjoyed that.
Yes, me too.
But
But
it
what
was
did this moment really do?
it knocked Loki away, I guess. I don't know.
That's what it is.
Stopped him from monologuing.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear
there
a
you go.
monologue right before they're about to die.
Yeah. No, I think it was a good like, that's a good comedic punch right there, right? Where he does that and he's like, that's what that does. Like, that's a good comedic punch right there. You know, it fits fits the tone.
And the one where Thor first meets everyone on the ship, and he's like, "He's my brother. He killed millions of people. He's adopted."
Yeah.
2 days. He's adopted.
Yeah, so I think in total, I think the comedy works a lot better in this one. Not everything landed, but you know, I think for the most part, An example of one not landing was like when Captain America was talking to the police officers, and they're like, "Why should we listen to you?" And then he does like some badass, shield bash and kills a few enemies, and they're like, and he starts relaying it. Like, I don't know, it's believable that they wouldn't want to listen to him because he's a goofy guy coming in with the red, white, and blue suit and the weird helmet and the shield, but he could have also done that a little bit differently. I think it would have worked if it was done a little differently.
Well, they had to give Cap his moment because everyone else, Hulk was, killing the big guys. Thor was, helping him out. And they all had their big scene, and then they're like, "Oh, we got to do something for Captain America. What are we gonna do?"
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, yeah.
It comes down to them underutilizing Captain America again, where it's like, well, what can Cap do? He inspires people. That's his thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, they're like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome. We'll have all these flying guys, all these guys that are going, stand on the side of the buildings." And then they're like, "Oh, wait, we got Captain America who's, walking on the ground. Oh, shoot, what are we going to do?"
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I agree with you. The jokes were the right amount of cup of tea.
Does anyone else have anything that they want to say about Avengers?
I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think I'm good.
All right, Coco, lead us off on our final thoughts and review.
So after watching this movie like for the 10th millionth time, I still enjoy it to this thing because it's still got good elements. Like the humor is good. One of my favorite scenes is when Hulk punches Thor, basically getting revenge for when Thor basically beating his ass before. Like the humor is good. Loki was great in this, which makes me look forward to when the Loki series comes because this is basically Avengers old Loki, but I still enjoyed like the newer Loki. It's just old Loki is still amazing. But overall, I'll give it a 5 out of 5.
Already
Called it.
What do you expect?
That's exactly what I expected.
Okay, I'll go next. I mean, I had a fun time with the movie. It has a great brisk pace to it. It doesn't stay on one thing for too long. I think that each character kind of gets their due with background and storytelling. It's a nice place to, if you don't want to watch any other movies, you don't have to because it kind of explains all their stuff really quickly without dragging on for too long. Obviously, Captain America is the low point of the movie, and I also thought that what was it? Never mind. I'm not gonna sit here and go for 5 minutes trying to think of it. But I did like oh, that's right. Some of the cinematography was really weird. Like when Captain America was in the mirror for the motorcycle that was on the ground, or there was a few like shots where like a reflection was happening in like a window. Like those shots were really weird, and I didn't like them. So some of the cinematography was bad, but there was also some really good cinematography in there as well. I really liked Loki. I think the more sinister vibe that they gave him in this was perfect, and it actually felt like a threat in this movie. The CG holds up pretty well, and I think Hawkeye is a badass. Yeah, you heard it here first. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I agree with what Yemmy was saying, and Hawkeye was actually really a badass in this movie. I really do agree that the way they show him, like this stuff, like them showing him, switching his arrow, to explosive, to hacking. Well, they didn't show him hacking, but just seeing, and then his slither rotating. I also thought that was cool. The only downside is, like I said, and I'll probably say this in every Marvel movie, is Hulk, just not so like as badass as he should be anymore. And this movie really made me go into my feelings about that. I was like, oh man, he was so badass, And then I see the newer movies, I'm like, it's like what happened, that this and that. But it's also Avengers. It's also going back after seeing the newer movies, I think I said the same thing about Age of Ultron too. Seeing it all connect and how it connects better now that we see this movie and that movie. So it's kind of cool to see like the different connections and stuff we would have missed normally. But after all that, I will give it a 4.5 out of 5.
All right. I mean, pretty much you guys have said it all. I really enjoy this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a few things here and there that kind of stand out to me now that they like back when I first saw it in 2012, I was just like, oh, that's so cool. But now it's like, there's some, I can nitpick it a little more now or see some of its flaws, I should say. But overall, like, I still enjoy this movie. I'll still probably see it again someday in the near future, or I mean, not near future, but in the future. So overall, I'd give it also a 4.5 out of 5.
It's a good watch. I mean,
yeah.
Like Yemmy said, even if you don't know any of the movies, it's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, the next movie we're going to be watching was recommended by a retro fellow. He won the movie vote, the movie poll that was during Tay's review. And he chose the movie Megamind from 2010. It was directed by Tom McGrath. The synopsis for it is: a bumbling supervillain named Megamind finally defeats his nemesis, the superhero called Metro Man. But without a hero, he loses all purpose and must find new meaning to his life. This movie stars Will Ferrell, Brad Pitt, Tina Fey, Jonah Hill, David Cross, Ben Stiller, Justin Trudeau, and Jessica Schulte, to name a few.
Wow, what a good cast.
The Prime Minister of Canada is in it?
Oh, you're right. It's not Trudeau, is it? Thurall? I mean, it's French. I don't know. Whatever.
Maybe it is Justin Trudeau. Who knows?
Maybe it is. Let's see. No, that's not him.
Oh, okay. You got my hopes up. I was like, that's cool.
He's an American actor, so yeah, not Canadian.
That's
this one on Disney Plus?
No, it's a DreamWorks movie, I believe,
no,
right?
Yeah, it's DreamWorks, so you'll be able to find it on Amazon, YouTube, Google Play, Microsoft Store, Sony Store, etc., etc. So it's not on like Netflix or anything like that, but it should be pretty easy. It's rent or buy on Amazon, so it should be easy to go to. Yeah. And I've already received confirmation. Fellow is going to join us on the next podcast, so
I can complain that he made me pay for another movie. Nah, joking. It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, he's going to join us next episode, so expect the energy level to spike a little bit. He definitely brings the energy to the party when he comes around, so we're excited for that. And if you want to be just like Fellow and get your movie voted on in the next Film Freaks poll, just head on over to the latest episode of Film Freaks and comment. Send us an email at ff.filmfreaks@gmail.com, or, of course, you can talk in the Discord in the movie reviews section and recommend a movie there as well. All right, what do you guys think? Megamind, next time.
I've never seen it, so.
I've never seen it. Now, the choices we had, it's the one I was kind of hoping for. So
there you go. Yeah, I've not seen this one myself, but I have watched a full-length review of it. So it's going to be interesting to finally see it for myself.
I think I've seen it from CinemaSins, but that you really got to show much. But
cringe.
That was so long ago, though.
Cinema cringe, you mean? No, I'm just kidding.
Simpsons will come over and say, "Excuse me, Yemmy, what did you say about?"
All right. So, anyone else have anything they need to say before we end the show?
Nope.
All right. Well, I am YemmytheFerret, and I have been here with
Radio Waffle,
Taymation,
Coco Gamer,
and we are Film Freaks with a Z. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.